Not bad, not great, better than The Exorcist Believer though. I'm reviewing The Exorcism. The Exorcism is a new supernatural horror film from Vertical and Shudder, and it is in theaters right now. And I'm assuming at some point it will be coming to Shudder streaming services. The Exorcism is directed by Joshua John Miller, and it stars Russell Crowe, Brian Simpkins, and David Hyde Pierce. If you don't know who Joshua John Miller is, he is the son of Jason Miller, who was in the original Exorcist, and he was also in a movie called Teen Witch, which I absolutely love, and I loved his character in that. Teen Witch is one of my guilty pleasures. As far as I can tell, he has only directed one other film, and that was in like 2000 or something, so it's been like, 20 years, 24 years, which is crazy. I mean, that practically, to me, feels like this is his directorial debut, because I'm sure that many things have changed in that time. Cameras, lighting, everything, is pretty different. I'm going to keep this review as spoiler-free as possible so that I won't ruin the film for you if you do decide to see it. The story focuses on an actor, played by Russell Crowe, who took a new acting job playing a priest in a film similar to The Exorcist, because the previous actor passed away. He had some issues in the past, and his relationship with his daughter is troubled at best, and she was recently kicked out of school and returned to live with her father, who puts her to work on his new set as the PA. He starts to lose it on set, and his daughter thinks he's falling back into old habits since he had issues with alcohol and things like that. He has also suffered some past trauma from things that happened in his childhood, specifically relating to priests. The film was originally titled The Georgetown Project, which I'm assuming is a reference to the Exorcist Stairs, which are in Georgetown, Washington, D.C., just outside of there. This film apparently started filming in 2019 and had to be pushed back because of, all the things that were going on. And so it has taken many years for this to actually come to theaters. So I'm going to start off with all the basics: the cinematography, the acting, the overall feel of the film. The acting, great. I loved every single actor. I loved Russell Crowe in this role. Now, I know that a lot of people have compared this to The Pope's Exorcist, which is a completely different film. I really did enjoy that film, though, and I know a lot of people disliked it, so take that for what it's worth. In this film, he actually is not a priest. He's just playing one on TV, as it were, and I'm fine with that. I don't care. If he wants to take many roles as a priest, I will watch them, because I think he is a phenomenal actor. I don't think there's anything I've ever seen him in that he didn't do well. So as far as the acting, not a single issue at all with anybody. David Hyde Pierce, wonderfully cute. Now, I know a lot of people might think that the priest character is kind of weird and quirky, but I will tell you, I moderated a panel last year at DragonCon for The Exorcist. It was for the 50-year anniversary, and I had a priest on our panel. And let me tell you, that priest kind of resembles this priest. He's fun and quirky and lighthearted. Not all priests are so serious and subdued. A lot of them have actually better personalities. It's a much better and more clever way to bring people to God than to act like a stodgy asshole, And then we have our cinematography. I will say the cinematography is nice. It is well done, albeit I have some issues. This film is intense, not just with the subject matter that it deals with, but these shots are very, very, very up close in the characters' faces. We don't look at a person. We don't get up in someone's face and see them this close when we're talking to them for a reason. They use a lot of Rembrandt lighting in this film, which isn't flattering to a lot of people. It's like I feel like I'm seeing something that I shouldn't be seeing. I don't want to look at someone like that. I don't want to judge someone like that. I feel like they were going for a more raw feel, a more realistic feel to the film. Movies are hyper life, and so it's okay for it to not be as completely raw. As far as the set design, environment, costuming, all very, very good. Very, very good. I did feel an eeriness to the whole set. And when you see the set, it's very cool because it looks like a dollhouse, like where it's like a house almost cut in half, like you could just play with your dolls in. And that has a creepy, uncanny valley type feeling to it. It just makes you feel uneasy. The film is kind of shot in segments. Well, actually, it is broken up into segments, I forgot. Like they do shooting day one, and then, they do skip some days. They're like snippets. The way they use some dissolves and stuff with transitions feels different than what we're used to. I think that feels older. So this film is a film within a film. It knows exactly what it is, and it does mention, the types of films that were made and what has happened on those sets, and everyone is aware of the weirdness that can occur on these sets. So especially Chloe Bailey's character, she is the one who plays like the Reagan type. She's ready, she's got getting herself all saged up, and she was great too, by the way. Usually the films within a film, I just turns me off because it's just silly. It just seems so silly. It comes off as so fake. This felt real. It's much lighter on the possession and more focused on relationship between Crowe and the daughter. And okay, it didn't go full Lifetime drama, so thankfully I was okay with that. They were both such kind of troubled people. The daughter is troubled by what the dad did, and obviously the dad is troubled by his childhood trauma and what he did to his wife and daughter. I will say that they had some really creepy moments between the father and the daughter and the possession, and they didn't go too far, but it actually really bleh. So they did try to push some of these limits, like they did in The Exorcist. Not quite so bad, thank God. Russell's character is truly and very sympathetic. He plays it so well that I really just truly felt so bad for him. He'd just gone through a ton, and it's like, dude just needs a break, y'all. Come on. It was actually a little bit hard to watch. Now, as far as the stuff that he dealt with in the past and that trauma, it was very lightly even touched on. It was enough to let you know what happened, and I think that was perfect. We didn't need any more than that. We didn't need to go into those dirty, dark places, and they didn't, and I appreciate that. This film has so many Easter eggs to The Exorcist, and I found that wonderful. I enjoyed it. I loved that there were so many different little things throughout this film that absolutely touched back to The Exorcist. Obviously, in relation to, any deaths surrounding The Exorcist, they had a fire. The fire burned everything but Reagan's room in the original Exorcist set. So that's kind of crazy. And there are rumors that they had a priest come on to set to bless it, after that, because all this weird stuff happening. Probably best to hedge your bets, yes. They even set up an actual cold room in this of the bedroom. Now, in the original Exorcist, they brought in all these air conditioners to make that room super duper duper cold. And of course, give them that icy breath when they're talking, which is actually pretty effective. Adam Goldberg plays the director, who is very clearly mirroring Friedkin, who William Friedkin is the director of The Exorcist, and quite frankly, he is not a good person. I wanted to give him some grace and the benefit of the doubt at a point, but when someone has done things that are just really awful, and then you ask them years later, which is only a few years ago, whether they do it again, and they say, I don't think so. Now, don't get me wrong, he did create an absolute masterpiece. The Exorcist is one of my all-time favorite films forever, and I think it's wonderful. I think it changed horror films forever, so I do give him credit for that, but at what cost? So there's clearly the directorial mirroring there. Given who the director is, you would imagine that there is also a nod to his father. And as some of you may know, he did have some issues with alcohol and memorizing his lines, and you can see that mirrored in Russell Crowe's character. We have a lot of the normal type of exorcist possession film scares, but here's where the interesting part comes. This is a very serious film dealing with very serious topics, and yet some of the possession stuff, some of the horror elements I found kind of funny. I understand I do find that stuff funny anyway sometimes, but there were some moments that had me chuckling when I probably shouldn't have been chuckling. So what did I think of the film overall? It's okay. It's not great. There's nothing that wowed me. There's nothing that just made me go, oh, I love this film. It's okay. It's a very decent exorcism film when we have had so many poor exorcism possession type films. Wasn't perfect by any means, has a ton of faults, but it's not bad. I know a lot of people do not like this film. I get it. I could see why you wouldn't like it. It does veer off in kind of a weird, over the top, crazy sort of exorcism way. I would wait until it comes to streaming services, Shudder. Exorcism possession films can be so hard to pull off. Honestly, it was a decent effort. It was a decent try. It could have been a lot worse, honestly. I mean, it was better than The Exorcist Believer. That's a lovely thing. Do you like exorcism films? Do you like supernatural religious horror films? Do you like Russell Crowe films? Do you plan on seeing The Exorcism? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, I really do hope that you have the most amazing day, my spooky darlings. I would like to say a big, huge, wonderful thank you to my Patreon members. You're wonderful. I really appreciate you supporting the channel and supporting me, and I love you dearly. Chris Mizic-Tino, Jimmy Horror, Eddie, Janie McLaren, Jose Reyes, Phil Smith, Jim Kemmerling, Mickey B, and Deal Demon. Thank you so very, very much, and I really do appreciate it. I don't want someone up in my... I'm like, hey, can I film you? Unfortunately, every time I say the word forgiveness, all I can think about is Anna Faris singing, forgiveness, smaller than saying sorry. Is that in Best Friends? Forgiveness. It's more than saying sorry. God, she was so funny in that. Okay. I hate to be one of those people, oh, I don't get scared, but I don't really get scared all that often. I get like chilling imagery, and jump scares will get me because that's a natural reaction. And if you don't react to a jump scare, there's something wrong with you. That means your fight or flight is just really messed up, and you should get that checked out. Okay, that's it. I'm done.